Hello and welcome to ET Garage. I don't have much of a video. I don't have much going on right now. There's projects I want to do on a Corvette if you've been following my channel. Anyone who follows my channel, it's mostly about my Corvette and projects that I do in the shop and etc. And every now and then I'll do something like on my Chevy Trax over there. But today's video, I'm just going to do an update on my 90 Corvette. I did a review of this when it had 217,000 miles on it. Now I'm going to go over the history of this car and what's been done since the 217,000 miles. I bought this car. It was a basket case, had 163,000 miles on it, I believe, and I actually drove it home on square tires from New Jersey, which is like over 2 hours from where I live here in PA. So anyway, drove that sucker home and started doing projects on it. Since then, I still has the original paintwork on it, if you will. At some point, one of the previous owners clear coated it, and you can see it's miscolor matched up here front. I don't know if you can see that or not, like right around here. I don't know if there was a bra there or something in the past that caused that they had to refinish that, but that's what I'm thinking. And anyway, so I polished it up and got it looking halfway decent. And one of the first things I did was work on the brakes. At that time, I just refurbished the brake pads and calipers. And the brake pads were literally separating from the plates because there was corrosion between them. So if I didn't actually take those pads out, I would have never noticed those pads separating because there was still plenty of material there and they were working, you know, halfway decent. But anyway, I did that, and at a later date, I went to slotted brake rotors and Hawk HPS pads. And at that point, that's all I did on the brakes. I ended up doing the suspension. I ended up going ahead and doing old poly bushings. And I went through several different sets of shocks. I took the original Bilsteins off. Those were too stiff. I just went with Monroe's for a while, and then I went with Gabriel's. The Gabriel's were actually pretty good, but you get a couple of years out of them, and that was it. And I ended up getting a really good deal eventually on a set of Ride Tech HQ shocks, adjustable shocks, rebound only. And that's on there. I also have bigger sway bars. I got a solid 32 millimeter in the front. I have a solid 26 millimeter in the rear. I have soft ride springs both up front. The one up front, the original spring started to sag and it was starting to delaminate. So at that time, Vet brake products were still in business, and I got probably one of their last front springs that they made, soft ride springs. Right now, Vance and I'm trying to, what the name of it, I can't remember. I'll try and remember the name of the company, but there's a company that's now making the front and rear leaf springs. On the rear, I have a Hyperco soft ride. I picked up a really sweet deal on that off of eBay. The guy only had it on his car for a day or so. He didn't like it. He felt it was too soft. For around here in Pennsylvania, with all the frost-heaved roads, the soft shock, the soft ride springs, the Ride Tech shocks on the softer side, and the bigger sway bars, the car handles great and rides a lot better than it did when I got it. That and the poly bushings. Since then, I also changed out the differential to a 307, originally a 259. This is an automatic car, which I mentioned. At one point, at 189,000, I think it was, I took this motor out, and it was the stock 350, and took it out, and I ended up getting another block, because when I had that hot tanked and Magnaflux, they found micro cracks starting to form in the valley, lifter valley. So I got another block off of Summit, a reconditioned block off of Summit, and a 383 stroker kit from Eagle, balanced rotating assembly. It's the cast assembly, high protected pistons, cast crank, forged rods. I think it's supposed to be good. That bottom end's supposed to be good for 500 horsepower. That being said, this does not make anywhere near 500 horsepower, not with a tune port on it. I do have the ASM&M large tube intake runners. I do have hooker headers on it. Right now I have these Bosch 4-hole 24-pound injectors. I have BBK 52mm throttle body. I have OBX stainless steel exhaust with the crossover pipe, and I modified that. I'll take you in the back and show you the mufflers in the back real quick. I have videos on it somewhere where I keep modifying the exhaust, but I ended up I don't know if you can see in there, but I actually plugged one side of the muffler. That's actually one pipe comes through the muffler. It's just perforated with packing, and then it Ys inside the muffler and comes out the two exits. With that in there, it actually helps to do away with the drone. That's pretty much everything I've done that I can remember. I did put a Sony head unit in at the time. It still has the stock Bose speakers, and that was up to the 217,000 mile mark. From that 217,000 to now, where it's almost at 237,000 miles, I have upgraded the brakes to Wildwoods. Those are, I just call them 13-inch. They're actually 12.88 inches. So I just round them out to 13 inches. And they're the slotted ones, not the drilled and slotted ones. I only did the front, as it was very expensive, and it was worth it, at least in my opinion. And I also did the bias spring in the master cylinder to balance that out. Balance out the rear brakes. The rear brakes have the slotted brake rotors on them, and I think just recently, I think over the winter, I went ahead and repainted the rear calipers. I don't know if you can see that or not. And if you're wondering about these wheels, they are the stock size 17-inch. I believe it's with the factory offset. I think they're either 9-inch or 9.5-inch. Someone could correct me in the comment section if you want, but they are the factory size. And I've gone through 4 sets of tires with these tires with this car. I did a review when I put these Michelins on. So far, the Michelins are the best, of course. They're also the most expensive. These are the All Season Pilot Sports. Yes, they are 275/40 ZR17 radials. Yes, that's the size on them. And those tires are fantastic. Other than this groaning noise I get at low speeds, and when I'm doing in U-turns in the parking lots and stuff, and that seemed to happen after I got about 1,000 miles on them. And then once the tires are either really cold, like in the 30 degrees range, or really warm, when you get them warmed up, they don't make the groaning noise. It's just like in that like 45 to, I don't know, 80 degree temperature range. Now, as far as the motor is concerned, I do have a custom tune. I learned to do my own tuning. I have some videos on that if you want to search my playlist. Another thing I did since the 217,000 mark is I made my own air oil separator. I made that out of an air dryer from the original air dryer that was in this from the AC unit that's in this car. I also get into the interior. I went ahead and did the carpet. Let's see if I can get a better view back here. And anyway, I did the carpeting, and over the years I've refinished some of the plastic pieces. I put another Halo unit. I picked up a used one off of eBay. There were some problems with that. Well, not eBay. I actually picked it up off, I think, Facebook Marketplace. Met the guy at a cruise down south from here in Pottstown, and that's where I picked it up, and I got it real cheap. The seats I recovered, I got them off of eBay, and that was an experience recovering them myself, and a lot of work. I keep this blanket on it to protect it, and it just makes my butt feel better. But I need to tighten them up. It's getting a little wrinkly there, but every now and then I treat them with leather conditioner, and they are leather. I do have a Kenwood head unit in it. I'm not going to show you that. Just look through my videos, or if you want, and you're interested, go in the comment section and ask for a link, and I'll provide a link when I have time. So I've done that. I've done the pin in the steering wheel. If anyone's familiar with the C4 Corvettes, the pin in the tilt steering wheel wears out, and they get a lot of slop in them. I've done that. I've done a bunch of other things I can't even remember. I've polished this top. At one time I clear coated it, and the clear coat had started to bubble some years later, and then I just sanded the clear coat off and polished it. That's how it is now, and it scratches real easy. I'm thinking of re-clear coating it because this is the transparent top, and it just, without that clear coat on it, it scratches super easy. You might even be able to see some of the scratches in it just from driving and stuff. But I've done the weather strip twice in this car. That's how many long I've had it, I guess you could say. And I can't remember when I did this last weather strip, but this one is tearing right here, so I'm not a little upset about this. This is the good stuff from Corvette rubber too. Along with the brakes, I also did all the brake lines. I have a video on that, and that's a bunch of videos. That was a process. I changed all the metal brake lines out to stainless steel from Classic Tube Industries. They sell a kit for the C4 Corvettes. Just make sure you get the right ear if you buy that. And that's a lot of work because the C4 Corvettes from I think 86 up have the ABS unit in it, anti-lock brake system, and that unit is located in back of the driver's seat in the rear compartment. So you got to run all new lines all the way back there, and you got to drop that compartment and clean that all out, and then run the lines forward. And there's a lot of lines, yeah, a lot. So I've done that. I've done the alternator upgrade. Recently I replaced the headlight module. I go in a little bit about that. I'm going to be repairing the original one as soon as I get the right relay. I ordered a relay, and I ordered accidentally 120 volt relay instead of a 12 volt relay, so I'm waiting for that to come in, and I'll let everyone know how that is. I am going to, a lot of people, the 90 Corvette and some other years Corvettes came with a KC4 oil cooler. Over time, when the cars get miles on them, they get clogged up, and people take them off and just run a regular oil filter. KC4 oil cooler goes between the oil filter and the oil filter where the oil filter normally goes, and then coolant runs through it, and that's how that KC4 oil cooler. I got everything I need to get it back to factory stock, including a new old stock one I picked up off of eBay. It was not cheap. That being said, it was cheaper, about half the price of what these things were when they were new. But I'll be doing a video in the future, I hope, about that. And anyone who's watched this, at one point I blew the torque converter in this. I have a video, that's one of my most popular videos, is a blown torque converter, where I cut the torque converter open and I show what broke inside it. But anyway, I went and rebuilt the trans, and I got a couple of years, I think about 20,000, I think about 20,000 miles on it. And the side cover for the governor came off, and all the fluid came out, and I blew the trans again. That was just recently, just this earlier this year. And anyway, I rebuilt the trans again. Lots of carnage inside that trans. All the planetaries were just gone, and I ended up upgrading them to 5 planetaries from the 4 planetaries, and then I upgraded it where instead of using thrust washers, it uses Torrington style bearings in there, and you can actually feel the difference with the Torrington bearings. You can tell it's a little bit more free going, and it feels like slightly better fuel mileage. I also, since 217,000 miles, I also went ahead, I needed to change my injector, so I figured while I had the intake off, the upper intake off, I'd go ahead and pop in a set of full roller rockers. I just had plain roller tip rockers in there. I went full rollers, and I still stayed with 24-pound injectors. I can't remember if I said this earlier. That's 24-pound injectors. And I just went to the 4-hole Bosch style. But it does have a mild cam in it. It's a Comp Cam 08302-302-A08 or something like that. 480 lift. 119, 120 duration, I think it is. And 112 center line on the cam. That's about, I've done a bunch of other things to this. I can't remember. I polished the windshield, or attempted to. All sorts of things. So you can just check out my videos if you want. But I'm going to end this video here. And if you want to continue watching, I'm going to shine it up for a cruise tonight if the weather cooperates. So, everybody have a great day, and God bless.